Yeah, I'm calling about the teleconference schedule for 11 o'clock for Brown.
I believe the call has actually been canceled. May I ask who is calling?
Yeah, my name is Ray Brown. I was just at your office a minute ago.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can get someone to talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was what happened here. Now, that doesn't mean that that people can't resign. No one can be forced to be a trustee. So if someone doesn't want to be a trustee, they can always resign, okay, and allow other trustees to go forward with, with the situation. Mr. Brown, are you on the phone? Okay, no response. So let's talk about the fact that all three, you and your brother, are the two beneficiaries of this trust. Okay, so that you are 50-50 beneficiaries of this trust.
My brother and I are
Yes.
50?
Yes, 50-50.
I didn't understand that, but that's okay.
Okay. Was there something else that you understood?
Well, I understood that we could act independently and that all three of us, including Robbie Davis,
Okay.
co-trustee.
Okay, we're getting a little mixed up. I mentioned that your brother and your son are co-trustees. You cannot act independently. No.
Okay.
You cannot act. You're to act together. However, if any of the three of you want to resign, meaning do not want the responsibility, you can relinquish your responsibility, and the other remaining trustees will have the legal authority. So we can't bind anybody to be a trustee. We can point them to that type of authority, but we can't bind them. And then you and your brother. Now we're not talking about trustees anymore. We're talking about beneficiaries. Okay, you and your brother are the joint beneficiaries of the trust, meaning the people who are entitled to share the benefits of this trust at the end of your mother's life. So there's a difference between being a trustee. That's a worker bee. That's someone who has the responsibility to work on behalf of the trust, and then there is the beneficiaries, the people who actually benefit from the trust.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's the difference here.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. So now let's go ahead and talk about basically the major responsibilities of a trustee. The primary responsibilities of a trustee are threefold. One, to collect all assets of the trust. So do you know what assets your mother left behind, Ms. Sharp?
The only asset that I'm aware of is her residence.
Okay. All right.
And a car.
All righty. So that residence is at the one on 76th Street?
3018 West 76th Street, yes, in Inglewood.
All righty. So, and what's the status of that residence right now?
Taxes are past due on the residence right now.
Okay. And is the residence paid in full?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And your brother's residing in the property?
Yes.
And how long has he been residing there?
He's been residing there several years, I think, since 81, maybe 82.
Okay, so 30 years. Is there a reason why your brother's residing there for 30 years?
He doesn't have a job.
I see. And doesn't look like he's going to get one anytime soon. Okay, so he's chronically unemployed and has been living off your mother for the last 30-some years.
Yes.
I see. Okay, so, basically you're going to have a problem, okay, because I don't think there's going to be any cooperation between your son, him, and you.
That's correct.
Okay, and that means that more than likely what you're going to have to do on this is you're going to, do you speak to your brother? Has there been any contact with him?
No, not really, no.
Okay, so...
Me in March, but that was a brief conversation.
I see. What was the content of the conversation?
Well, he asked if I knew about Mom.
Your mother had died?
No, she hadn't died at that particular point.
Okay.
She died April 1st.
Okay.
He had contacted me March 5th.
Okay, and what was the situation then?
He didn't say. He hung up. I don't know. I asked him him, it was early in the morning, and I asked him if he could just call me back. Now, I do not have his number, and I think he wants it that way, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, he's kind of, we've asked for a number. He gave us a number. First it was fine to call him, and then last minute it wasn't fine to call him. And as you can see, we had him on the phone there for a minute, but he's off. So I don't know if that's a hang-up or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically, were you involved with your mother at the end of her life?
Yes.
Okay, so...
As a matter of fact, when she was in the hospital and the nursing home, my brother refused to sign the paperwork for her to have them contact him and so forth and so on. And so when I found her, I went ahead and I signed the paperwork that I would be responsible for her. I would be the contact.
So she was not, you didn't know where she was?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I had called and the phone just kept ringing. I had gone by, and I could see 2 cars in the driveway, but nobody answered. And then a friend of my brother contacted another person, and they told me that my mother was in the nursing home. In a nursing home. So I started calling the nursing home. And they go, oh, no, she's not here. She's in Sentinel Hospital. No, she's in California Hospital. That was in December of last year. So that's how I tracked her down. And when I got to the nursing home, they told me that my brother had said that there were no other relatives. He had no siblings. And I said, well, I'm here. I'm her daughter. And I took my birth certificate in so they could see who I was. And they said, well, they showed me a package that hadn't been opened that was addressed to my brother. And they said he refused to sign. The package came back.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'll be responsible for her. They said either that or the state, I think they said.
I see. Okay, well, I can understand then what was happening at the end of her life now. And so basically, this is a situation. The trustee's responsibilities are to collect whatever the assets, it sounds to me as a major asset is the home, to manage the assets, and then to distribute the assets as the trust provided for. So in this case, I unfortunately believe that there probably will have to be litigation over your mother's house.
Okay.
From everything you described, as relates to, what's happened so far between the family members and the status of things right now, it doesn't sound like to me you and your brother are going to come to an agreement about the sale of the house, which is the only thing that to me makes sense.
Right.
Being that he's living there and your mother wanted half of the property to go to you. So the only way that can be accomplished is for it to be sold. So basically, that would be something that if you and your brother could agree to and manage it together, that would be the optimum way for this to be resolved, because you wouldn't have a whole bunch of unnecessary attorney's fees and court costs and whatever. But from everything you described to me, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either.
So what I would do, I'll be happy to refer you to someone. We do not do trust litigation, okay? And unfortunately, we would not be able to do it. But we could certainly refer you to someone who could handle this. And if I were you, I would seek counsel with the attorney and move forward with doing whatever you guys decide, because the property can be seized if taxes are not paid on it.
True.
How have the taxes been paid in the past? Your mother?
Well, I think my brother had paid before.
I see.
Using her money because he had her Social Security and her retirement.
I see. So
into his account.
I understand. So basically, he was using her money. That's what I was saying. Your mother's money was what was paying the taxes before. Alrighty. So basically, that's no longer available. Your mother's Social Security stopped. Your mother's pension stopped. There will be no more money coming from those sources.
Right.
I don't know whether or not there's other funds that your mother, had in terms of retirement and what have you. And he probably is the only one that knows.
Yes.
So basically, the situation is such that you need to get counsel.
Okay.
Okay, and then from there on, you can handle that. And like I said, I don't know what contact, you feel is justifiable with your brother considering everything you know. That is certainly going to be up to you. And, certainly you need to speak with your son, who is also a trustee of this trust, But if this all could be resolved in a way that benefits, you and him better than litigation, that's certainly what I would prescribe, if you two can come to an agreement about it. But from my experience, I think the only thing that would work here would be a sale of the property. Okay. Unless you're just willing to walk away and leave it to him. So that's, of course, your decision.
Okay. Now, I would appreciate the referral.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to walk away from it because he has had time to secure a job and be on his own.
Well, the reality is also that if you don't do something, more than likely this property will be lost.
That's right.
And that is because he doesn't have the ability to pay for the taxes and the insurance on the property. Right. So just on that basis alone, the more than likely it would be lost by someone who has no means of support and doesn't appear to want to get any means of support. That might be the case. So I don't know what the situation again with your brother. We attempted to include him in this conversation, and that's the only obligation I have. So let me give you the number of someone that you may want to call to talk about what the remedy might be for resolving this between you and your brother. And his name is William Hayes, Hayes.
Okay, give me just a second. William
Hayes,
Hayes.
And his telephone number is 626 403 2292. Yes, and just let him know that I referred you to him. Okay?
Okay.
So I wish we could be more help to you, and in many cases we are, because we do have people working together, and we can help them in regards to making sure that certain things get done. There are requirements under Los Angeles County law that require people to go ahead and actually notify them of a death of someone within 150 days of their death. We normally work with our clients to get that done, and then work with the clients to get the properties distributed in the way that the way the parent wanted. But that is not part of the fee your mother paid us, and it certainly isn't something that we can do with family members who are not working together.
Okay, I understand.
So I wish we could be more assistance to you, but I would just suggest, Ms. Sharp, that you pursue whatever you feel comfortable with, because unfortunately, from all you've told me, it doesn't appear that there's going to be an easy resolution of this matter.
Right.
So,
and I really appreciate all that you've done, and Stacy has been a godsend to me when I requested the paperwork, and she did send them out to me. I appreciated the timeliness that she had done that.
Well, that's what we're here for, and that's what we promise our clients, because we know that family members will be struggling after losing someone, the grief of it all, even when we expect something to happen, we can't make up for the loss of a loved one. And we know that our clients were depending on us to be the kind of the steady or in the case of, their loss, where we would be there to give information, answer questions, assure people what has been done. And your mom did a great thing, and that she made this trust, and that's a wonderful thing that she attempted to do for the family. And now it's just a responsibility of the family members to really pursue what she wanted, which is a fair distribution of her property. And so hopefully that can be resolved between you and your brother. I wish you the best in terms of having that be the result of this. But if you feel that that's not it, then I do, advise you that there are other options.
Okay, I really appreciate that. I'm going to attempt to write to him, as I don't have his phone number. I'll try. He's on Facebook, and I'll try to get my youngest son to help with that. I have a computer, but I am not on those
websites and what have you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I understand, and it can be trying.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah, to sometimes communicate that way. But I wish you the best of luck in that.
Okay, I appreciate your help so much.
You're very welcome, my dear. And again, if we can answer questions, you can give us a call.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye. Bye. Any questions of what I discussed during that call?
No, just a couple of clarifications.
Okay.
From what I recall, you asked her about our home tax situation, and our taxes are current.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
And she neglected to tell you that she had been estranged from the family for about 20 years. And she did mention a date in December, which was December 15th, of her becoming involved with our family matters. And that she did so at the behest of the nursing facility, because while my mother was in custody there, by their neglect, she suffered a broken hip. And up until that time, for the past 7 years, I had been her caretaker on a 24-hour basis.
Okay. But I really don't think it's worth any time for us to go over that history, because it is no relevance to your mother's trust. Okay?
I know. I'm just clarifying that, because it seemed like you expressed a bit of prejudice against me from hearing that information.
I'm not expressing any prejudice. This is what my advice to you, Mr. Brown, is to really, the reality is your mother wanted you and your sister and her son to work together.
Right, and I have
That's the reality.
And I have and like I said, I have no opposition to that.
Okay, so that was the situation, and your mother wants you and your sister to jointly own her estate and to benefit from it now at her death.
Well, that's fine too.
Okay, buy her out?
Yes, like I said, I've been my mom's caretaker for...
No, I mean something other than that. Something that you are currently earning money now from.
Yeah, right. We have a home business together, my mom and I.
Okay, well, your mom's no longer there. What kind of home business did you have?
It's primarily back office support.
I see. So if you have a credit history, Mr. Brown, that would allow you to borrow money, then that is something that, you and your sister shall pursue. But my experience would be that probably the best resolution of this would be to sell the home and to move on, you taking your one half, her taking her one half, and you guys moving on with your lives.
Yes.
So
the more favorable position to me was the litigation you spoke of.
Well, the way she expressed it, she claims you've not been cooperative with her, that you hang up on her, that you don't want to be cooperative with her. I don't know this. I'm not saying this is the fact. I'm just taking what her word was and saying that if that is the case, and you two can't cooperate with each other, then what you have to do is pursue action to get things resolved in a court of law, which unfortunately I don't want either one of you to be involved with, and I certainly don't believe that would be what your mother would want.
Yeah, well, that's why I was calling you back, just to clarify those points.
Okay. So you have your sister's
privy you to the truth.
You have your sister's telephone number, don't you, Mr. Brown?
Well, we've been trying to call her. She, like I said, this is we have a number, but me and most of the relatives that have tried to contact her have been unable to reach her at that number.
Okay, she says that she received a call from you and that she asked you to call her back because it was early in the morning. I don't know whether that's the number you have. I have a number for her. Would you like the number?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's 909 622 7430. Please do not abuse that number, Mr. Brown.
How would I do that?
By calling her at strange hours, by being confrontational when you call her, okay? I think all that should be about the conversations, not what happened before Mom passed away. None of that's relevant now, okay? Only thing is relevant is that your mom has passed. You guys need to grieve, and then you need to honor her wishes, and her wishes were for you two to jointly own her estate.
Yes, well, I can understand you saying that, not knowing the facts of the case. because she was instrumental in hastening her death, but that's another
story. See, this is the reason why I think I'm already sorry I gave you the number, okay? Because I just told you that the emphasis should be now. She said, it can't be both ways, Mr. Brown. It can't be she hastened her death, but she's been estranged from the family. It can't be the both ways, okay? But bottom line is, at the